Welcome to another Excel VBA tutorial. In today's video, we are going to go over how to select cells, but these are more of the complex ranges. So these are the ones that either they have blanks in them, so maybe a blank row, a blank column, a blank cell. And how do we do that? How do we select these more complex ranges using VBA? So I already have a couple examples laid out. As you can tell, I have a range of cells. And we're just going to play around with this little range of cells and see how we can select different portions of this range in order to achieve what we need to achieve. So let's get started. Okay, so here's my VBA editor. Let's go to the first example. What if we want to go to the last cell in a continuous range of cells? So in other words, there is no blank spaces. So for example, this little range of cells right here, this would be continuous. There is no blanks. However, this one is not continuous. It does have a blank cell. So how do I go from, in this particular range, how do I go to this cell? So cell A4. Well, lucky for us, if we go here, we have something called the active sheet. We know what that is. And obviously within sheets, there's ranges of cells. Here, I'm picking the starting point of this range. So range A1. And then, I'll kind of demonstrate this one, but there is the end, XL down, and that's basically a method that we can use in order to go down, or really going to the end of a range. That's all we're doing, is we're going down to the end of a range, and we can specify which end of our range do we want to go. Do we want to go to the bottom part of our range? Do we want to go to the top of our range? Do we want to go to the far left of our range or the far right of our range? So whatever you need to do, you just pass through a little bit differently, either XL down, XL right, XL up, XL left, and then you simply select that cell. Now, in this example, there's nothing stopping you from using cells if you wanted to use cells. Each one's fine because they're kind of their own individual range objects, but this is how we would select the last cell in this continuous range. So if I run this, you can tell it just took me to cell A4, just like I was expecting. And then, what if I want to go to the first blank cell after my continuous range? So I wanted to go down just one more. So A5. Well, it's almost identical. The only thing that we're adding is we're adding the offset property. And with the offset property, we just have to specify the number of rows we want to go down or up, or the number of columns we want to go left and right. Well, I just want to go down one row, so I pass through a +1, and then I select that cell. So if I run this one, we'll find that it takes me to that blank cell. Okay, so cell A5. So that's how we do kind of the more simple examples. What if we want to select that entire range of cells? So for example, maybe I want to select this entire range. So I don't want to just move in between it, but I actually want to select that entire range. Well, we know with ranges, we just have to pass through a starting point and an ending point, and then we just select that range of cells. So in this example, really all that we're doing is we're just building that range of cells. Well, easy for us, we know the starting point of our range, but it's the ending point that can be a little bit more complicated. So really all we did is we passed through our starting point, and then we're passing through our ending point. And so really what we did is we just took the code that we had up here and we passed that through. And what this is doing is it's saying, okay, well, if this is the starting point, I want this to be the ending point, so cell A4, and that's going to be the entire range of cells that I want to select. And we also know with ranges that we can build them two different ways. We can either have a comma, so in this example, I don't really have to do anything super fancy, I just have to pass through that ending cell. Or I can build it using a string, using a colon. Now, if I use a colon, I've got to use an ampersand, and then I also have to take that last cell and get the address property for it. So this is actually giving me the string address. So in this example, it would be A4, and this will allow me to concatenate these two strings so that way I can build my range. And so if I run this one, we see that it selected that range of cells, A1 to A4. Now, what if we want to do a little bit even more complex range? So maybe I want to select this entire range. Well, this is even more complex because now we've got this little blank cell. And so I could do this, but then I would have to do an offset, and then I'd have to do another offset. And so, yeah, that's kind of okay, but it's going to be a little bit complicated. probably the better thing we would want to do is if we know the top of our range, is there an easy way to get to the bottom of our range? Well, one of the most common things people will do is they'll simply go to the last cell in their worksheet or in whatever particular column they're in, and then they'll press Control up. Well, when you press Control up, it's basically like you're going from the last cell to the first cell that you encounter at the bottom of your range. And so that's really what this line is doing right here. Now, this is using some older code that probably was used in an earlier version of Excel, but they're going down to the last cell in their worksheet, and then they're just simply pressing Control up in a sense to take them to the first non-blank cell in that range. And so we'll find with this one, we can actually build this more complex range pretty straightforward. So again, it selected it just like we were expecting it. And then again, we use two different methods. One's using the comma and the other one's using the address. Really, it just boils down to preference. And also, sometimes one's more advantageous than the other. Now with this one, what if we want to select an entire row? Well, we again use the range object, and then it's just 1, 1, so that's row 1. And then we can also select entire column, so we just pass through the alphabetical character. So this one's AA. What if we want to do more rectangular shapes or ranges? So these are kind of even bigger ones, so it's not just staying within a particular column, but it might go multiple columns in different directions. Well, if I wanted to select this one, I have a couple different ways that I can do it. The first example is kind of leveraging what we've done up here before in the sense that we're building it. And then also one of them is using the current region property, which is basically saying, hey, take the first cell and then take the last cell in this rectangular range and select that range. So you'll find with this one, if I run this, it selects that entire current region. So the current region is basically have my starting point and then go to the last column in the last row that's continuous in a sense. And then the other ways are just building it exactly like we've seen it before, where again, we're specifying our starting point. And really what this one's doing is it's saying, okay, Control right and then Control down. So it's finding that last cell in that rectangular range, and then it's building it. So it's using that end method twice. So it's going down and then right, down and then right. So it's building it using that end method. And then it's also using the address property again to demonstrate you can still build it two different ways. So I'm going to comment this one out just so that way we can see the other examples. Now this one, I kind of thought it was a smart way to do it too, but really all this one is doing is it's taking what we've done up here, but it's breaking it out into multiple lines, which sometimes that's what you want to do. You don't necessarily want to do it all in one line. But this one is saying, well, first find my last column. So it's saying, okay, start at range A1. Oh, went to my X sheet. Find my last column, and that's all this one's doing. So it's selecting that cell and it's taking the column from it. And then the other one is finding the last row. So it's basically starting down at the last cell in my sheet, and then it's going up, and then it's returning the row of that cell. And then it's building that cell, and so we're selecting it. So that's all this one's doing. So if I run this one, you can see that, again, it's built it to include that blank row. And that's the same thing that this one is doing as well. So it's building that last row. In fact, I think it might be it's the same exact one. It's using the address property in this example. So this is really doing what this one is doing, but it's including that blank row, and it's not doing the actual address property of it. So it's excluding the address property. So that's how, if you wanted to build the more rectangular ranges, but maybe they include a blank row or something like that, this is how we would get around that. So what if we want to select ranges of cells that are non-continuous columns, for example? So for example, maybe I want to select this and then this. So I want to select these two ranges of cells. Well, this is even more complex, but lucky for us, there is a way we can do it. Really, all we've done is we said, okay, find the starting point of your range and then the ending point of your range with the columns. So this one's saying, okay, well, here's my starting column, A1, and then my ending column is C1. And then really all it's doing is it's building the two individual ranges. So it's saying, okay, my first range is range A1, and then all I want to do is find the last cell in that range. So I'm just going and pressing the control down arrow to find the last cell in that range. And then the other one is doing the same exact thing, but it's doing it for the last column. So it's saying, okay, control down, find the last cell in that range. And then it's using the union of range A and B to both select those. And this is how we select non-continuous ranges of cells that have basically, in a sense, blank columns in between them, if you think about it in that sense. So if I do this, it's building it, and then it selected it. So this is, again, I would call that probably the most advanced example out of any of it, just because you have to build it into 2 individual pieces. So that's how we would select that type of range. So that does it for today's video. If you have any questions about, how to select ranges or how to build them, please put them down in the comments below, because I understand this is obviously an important concept and a lot of people have questions about it, and I want to make sure that you get them answered. Also, if you could make sure to like the video so that way other people have an easier time finding it. And if you're not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so that way you get regular updates as we release new videos. So we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks again for watching.